Fantastic Four: The First Steps is quite remarkable. After years of mid and Jesus Christ, we finally have a Fantastic Four movie that not only understands and nails all of the four members, but also feels like an actual family. Fantastic Four: The First Steps was both the movie I was anticipating the most this year and the one I feared the most. I loved all the trailers, I loved the costumes. While I was iffy on the casting, it eventually grew on me, and I was hoping at the very least they were chosen for a good reason. But all of this was coming out around the same time Brave New World came out, which, I'm not gonna lie, felt really hopeless at the time for Marvel. More of that on here. But this movie finally dropped, and my god, it was better than I can ever imagine.
Hey Peggy, let me talk to him one time, hold up.
I absolutely love the Fantastic Four: First Steps. I genuinely think this is one of Marvel's best films and probably my second favorite movie of the year. Sorry, Cinders just has my heart. As a massive Fantastic Four fan, I feel really happy with the fact that Marvel finally got things right. And one thing they got extremely well that I was really nervous about was the character writing. I was extremely nervous on how they would handle Reed Richards in this film, especially with Pedro Pascal playing him. And while it took a bit of convincing, I actually think Pedro was the right man for the job. I love how Reed in this film isn't just a genius, but also one who has troubles with empathy. And I like how this film kind of emphasizes the fact that every idea he thinks about isn't particularly one he likes. It's just the product of being the smartest man in the universe. He thinks of stuff that he doesn't necessarily want to do. Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm was also really damn good. It felt like the chemistry between her and Pedro was very strong, and it kind of translates really well to the chemistry between Reed and Sue. Coming from movies that felt like they barely had any chemistry, I think Sue in this film pretty much feels perfect to how she is in the comics. She's the heart of the four, the one who brings the group together even when they're all at their lowest. Without spoiling it, she's definitely the main character of this film because she's directly tied to the conflict of the movie. And I think they did a good job fleshing her character out more than anything. The era of really dull Sue Storms are finally dead. Johnny, my favorite member of the Fantastic Four, actually has quite a lot to do in this film. I love Chris Evans' Johnny Storm, but it kind of felt like they leaned way too much into him being a fuckboy. Femme Four Stick tried to make Johnny a lot more clever, but I think it kind of fell flat. Here I feel like Johnny has a better mix of a lot of the stuff that makes him more interesting in the comics. He's smart in his own way, he loves his family, he's horny as shit, and I think this movie does do a great job of having a balance of all three of those attributes. I think the storyline of him trying to decipher the Silver Surfer's messages was very intriguing and kind of shined all three of those personalities in the best way possible. Joseph Quinn was the cast I was most worried about, and I'm happy to say that I was proven wrong with this movie. He's actually probably my favorite actor of this film. I also think him and Ben was just extremely fun to watch together. Speaking of which, here's the thing with the Thing. I like Ben Grimm in this film. I like Ebon as the Thing, but he doesn't really do anything. Don't get me wrong, he's not completely backseat for this film, but like, he definitely feels very underdeveloped in this film. There's something where he has a thing for a lady at the church, but it really goes nowhere. I still liked him in this film, but I didn't love him as much as I wanted to, or as much as the other cast at least. But overall, I feel like this movie does a great job with trying to represent everyone in this film. You know, everyone has a moment to shine, even if that moment's a little underwhelming. Hey, since we're talking about things that underwhelm me in this film, I don't really like Silver Surfer that much. I think making her Shala Ball gave them a lot more freedom to do whatever they want with her. And while I think the Silver Surfer had a lot of dope moments, like especially in the middle of the film, she just kind of felt really underdeveloped, to be honest. Way better than her 2007 counterpart, but still not as good as I wanted her to be. I hope this isn't the last time we see Shala Ball, because I think overall she's really cool in the film, just not as cool as she could have been in the film. At least the Galactus is pretty cool. Took him 18 years, but we finally have a Galactus that actually feels like a powerful threat, and it's not a fucking cloud. A friend brought up the fact that it feels like they should have hidden a bit more of Galactus just to make him feel like this all-powerful threat once he drops into New York City. And to an extent, I do kind of agree. But I still think overall, Galactus is super cool in this film. And the fact that this universe is overall separated from the main MCU timeline makes it more fascinating to know whether or not they're going to survive this or not. I think overall the story is just kind of elevated by that. I so desperately wish more Multiverse Saga films took advantage of the fact that this is the Multiverse Saga. You know, this isn't just Cameo Machine, you know? But even outside of that, which is just a greater problem with Marvel and how they handled this saga in the first place, I actually really love how this film feels like it has high stakes to it. Without spoiling it, the conflict is actually quite dark, with kind of the whole world panicking on whether or not they're gonna die or not, and thinking the Fantastic Four is selfish for certain decisions made in the story. Without spoiling it, I can't spoil it. But I think the story wouldn't work as well if the four main characters didn't have such great chemistry together. They feel like a family, the way they talk to each other, the way they argue, the way they resolve their conflicts. Their dynamics are all uniquely different no matter what combination of people you have. With the strong narrative and the stronger characters, I feel like this is probably the best Fantastic Four narrative on screen, and I'm honestly so happy with that. I also just really dig the whole 60s aesthetic with it. This movie is definitely a love letter to Jack Kirby's original Fantastic Four run, and you can really tell from simply how this film looks. This is, in my opinion, one of Marvel's best looking films today. If they're gonna bring the Fantastic Four into the main MCU after Secret Wars, I hope this city stays. I hope this aesthetic stays, no matter what. I'm honestly so happy with this film. It got its issues, no doubt, but if you're a fan of the Fantastic Four, I don't think you would be disappointed with this film at all. At the very least, I can see someone who didn't enjoy this film appreciate the effort Marvel went through to try to make this movie stand out from other Fantastic Four movies and other MCU films. The world, the characters, the conflicts, and how it all feels perfectly executed. While I'm definitely biased because I love the Fantastic Four, I genuinely think this may end up being one of my favorite MCU films. I genuinely think this film is fantastic. Subscribe or else the next Fantastic Four movie will be another Fan Four stick. You don't want that, so you better subscribe.